Okay, guys, so I just noticed that Joe Rogan uploaded a podcast just from today, actually, and it's with some dude named Colin O'Brady. I heard about this about a month ago on the news. This guy apparently crossed Antarctica. Here's some of the news headlines about it. This American man defied the impossible with first ever solo trek across Antarctica. Here's another headline, Business Insider. 33-year-old American just became the first person to cross Antarctica alone. Once again, New York Times, Colin O'Brady completes crossing of Antarctica with final 32-hour push, in which he apparently walked 77.54 miles on the final 32 hours of his journey. First person to traverse Antarctica from coast to coast, solo, unsupported. He's also towing like 300 pounds of a sleigh across the snow. So that's some pretty epic endurance there. 77.54 miles in 32 hours with 300 some pounds of sleigh. But I find it interesting, as I'll show you guys here in a moment. The dude did not cross Antarctica. I mean, he certainly didn't walk across the entire longest length from one end to the other of Antarctica. And, well, you'll see it right here in the Joe Rogan podcast. Watch.
This is a guy who walked across Antarctica. How many days did it take you?
54 days.
By yourself?
By myself.
Trekking
yes,
across the fucking frozen tundra.
That was an endurance feat of its own. Yeah, just back.
No, that's a real endurance feat. I'm just sitting down talking to people. Oh my God, you talked already for 2 hours. How do you do it?
2 more hours. Here we go. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yep.
Dude, what the fuck were you doing?
Just getting back. Actually, still practically have the snow on my shoes. Yeah, I got back about a month ago. 54-day journey. First person in history to cross the entire continent solo, unsupported, so no resupplies throughout the thing. No aid, no wind, kites, nothing. Just me dragging a 375-pound sled across Antarctica.
He just said the first person to cross the entire continent of Antarctica unaided. So, first person to cross the entire continent. Well, let's see if that plays out on the map they're going to show in just a moment.
Can't believe it only took you 54 days.
Yeah.
It's so big. Like, look at Antarctica on a map. Like, how long do you think it would take you to walk across America?
Well, we usually look at Antarctica on a map. This is hilarious. I've showed people a picture of Antarctica. You're a smart guy, you probably know this, but usually people see it on a map projection because I think it's flat, right?
Right.
It's actually circular.
Yeah.
So I went from the edge of the Ron Ice Shelf to the via the South Pole to the Ross Ice Shelf. So basically, kind of a diagonal across through the center and then back to the other ice shelf.
What do the flat earthers think about your traversing this area? Look, this is what you did. This is how you.
There it is. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so they're going to keep talking about flat Earth, of course, and we're going to get into that in a moment. But first, let's look at the route that he took. Now, it's a little bit hard to see, so I have some Google images here pulled up, and this is the route that he took across the continent of Antarctica. So, as you can see, I mean, this is Antarctica right here. You see how big it is? Like, it's big, right? That's the entirety of Antarctica. Yet this is the little, relatively speaking, trek that the guy did. So, okay, you went across Antarctica. Well, you didn't go across Antarctica. You kind of stuck to one side and kind of went from one shelf to the other shelf.
I travel a lot and I fly a lot and I can see the curvature when I fly.
Okay, so 35,000 feet, you can see it, right? That's what you're saying?
Generally speaking, I can see a slight curve to it, yeah.
Okay, so Neil deGrasse Tyson says that you can't see it at that altitude, so I really
This really doesn't matter. We have satellites.
That stuff is flat.
So it's far from like the way the headlines blow it out of proportion and say he crossed, and then here on Joe Rogan's podcast to say he crossed the entire Antarctica. Like that kind of doesn't really accurately describe it when you think about the breadth and the width of how big Antarctica is on the maps. So to say that this is some type of debunking of flat Earth, you stuck near the coastlines and you walked a little bit across the coastlines. I mean, that's literally what you would expect on the mainstream flat Earth map with the freaking ice wall surrounding everything. But let's keep listening to the Joe Rogan podcast here.
It went to the center of the fucking Earth, basically.
There it
went
is.
to the top of the pole.
Yep, bottom of the earth, you know, standing down there, holding everyone up on my shoulders.
Wow. So you were at the South Pole, and then you trekked over to the ice shelf on the other side.
It's funny you say about the flat earthers, though, because all jokes aside, I've been getting a lot of trolling on my Instagram page from the flat earthers. I've got guys going like, oh, I was doing this speech the other day. People are super nice, come up in the Q&A afterwards, want to shake my hand, take a picture, whatever. And this guy walks up with this real earnest look on his face, and he's like, so I really wanted to ask you, how's the hole? And I was like, excuse me? He was like, you know, the hole at the center. And I was like, give me a little more. He was like, you know, like when you got to the edge. And I was like, oh man, like you're really asking me this question right now. Like we were talking about this. I didn't quite know where to go with it. I was like, yeah, there's actually, at least I didn't see the edge, and the curvature kept going, and I made it to the other side.
It is such a strange thing to believe, but people do.
And
People think people are trolling about that. And you know what? It actually started out. It's another 4chan thing, you know. Did you know that?
Joe Rogan just loves talking about how flat Earth is a 4chan thing. That's how Joe Rogan doesn't have to look into flat Earth. He just tells himself every day, it's just a 4chan troll. It's just a 4chan troll. It's just a 4chan troll. Sorry, it's not, Joe. It's just not. I wish flat Earth was a fucking 4chan troll. Then I could put this fucking curse down and stop worrying about it. But, sorry, this is real. This is real shit. I'm not saying the Earth is flat is real. I'm saying the debate, the actual fact that proof of the globe is nowhere near conclusive. And that there's a lot of concerning flat Earth evidence. I mean, go ask your buddy Owen Benjamin, Joe. Let's keep watching.
Well, I'm sure there was probably somebody who believed it before that, but it started off people were trolling on 4chan, then eventually people just started actually going, hey, yeah, I bet it is flat. And then they started believing it, and YouTube videos popped up.
There's another YouTube video someone linked to me the other day, and I thought it had like a few hundred views, but it had 28,000 views, and it was all these guys debating like, Colin proved that there's not a wall, like the wall, like there would be like Game of Thrones at the edge of the world. There's this whole conversation about
I bet there's another 28,000 people. It's proved that Colin never actually went.
Of
we
course.
know. He's a New World Order shill.
Well, so there you have it. And, yeah, I mean, walking across the edge of Antarctica, you know, is far from crossing the entire continent, and it's most certainly far from proving what its actual shape is when you've only kind of coasted along the coast, really, if you look at it on a map here, crossing from one shelf to the other, far from crossing the entire continent, and, sorry, man, it doesn't prove anything. Still too many holes with the globe model. Thank you guys for watching.
I travel a lot and I fly a lot and I can see the curvature when I fly.
Okay, so 35,000 feet, you can see it, right? That's what you're saying?
Generally speaking, I can see a slight curve to it, yeah.
Okay, so Neil deGrasse Tyson says that you can't see it at that altitude, so I really...
This really doesn't... We have satellites.
That stuff is flat. That stuff is flat. Don't get me started.